La 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 la, wait till I give my money right.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Quantum Ascend. I have RSR reserve rights up on the screen, the 1 week price chart. Today, going to break down where we're headed in alt season here for these waves 3, 4, and 5 that we see over here in black. So, on the broader Elliott Wave count, you see that we had our 5 waves up starting in January of 2020, ending at the end of alt season there in April of 2021. Since then, 5 waves down. We had 5 up, we had 5 down, and now we're still, like I said, working on these 5 up. So there's going to be a couple different areas of interest up here for RSR. We're going to use Elliott Waves and Fibs to figure that out. So we know we got 2 moves left. Again, right now, today, things going really well in the market. Jerome Powell just announced that they're going to be cutting rates, which, to be completely honest with you, is long-term bearish. Short-term, though, looking pretty bullish. So hopefully this is the juice we need to get alt season kicked off here. So reserve rights, first things first, I'm going to draw this out here from the high all the way down here to the low. We have a couple different things that could be happening here for RSR on the macro. So right now, we're looking at here, this structure, right? We had the 5 up, the 5 down, waiting on 5 up. After that, we're expecting some kind of global depression or big crash, right? So what this thing is doing is it looks like it's printing off a macro ABC. All right, so the first thing that I have to do is we know that in an ABC, which is what this would be, 5 up, 5 down, 5 up, there's going to be a minimum measurement on here. So we know that the C wave at minimum has to be the length of the A wave. That A wave there was 1,500%. I take that from the low right here, and I see, okay, there's some confluence up here, and the minimum right there, I'm looking at 7.2 cents. That's the absolute minimum for this move, closer to 73 cents, okay? So I know that when I'm doing my price targets here, we are going to be looking for something that just barely, at least meets that, okay? And there are some other mathematical measurements that we're going to be able to do here to give us some other price targets. Before I do that, guys, join the Quantum Circle, 2 daily macro videos, entries, exits, and strategy, private Discord, a whole lot more. You can find that link in my bio. I'm telling you, though, guys, on entries and exits alone, you're going to be making that money back every month. We've been pretty locked in on the macro picture here. We have our levels that we dollar cost average. So I promise you guys it's going to be one of the better decisions you make. All right, RSR, here we go. There's a couple ways I want to measure this. Across the board, we've been looking at that December top for a lot of the alts right after the Trump pump. All right, I'm going to draw fibs on that entire B wave here. Sure enough, we see some confluence out here. A full extension of that gets us right around the 786, but I see that the 3618 of this range and the 702 of this broader range are both right up here, right around like that 8.5 cent level. Right up around in that area. Now, I'm going to take this away from the time being. You do see that the 4236 is at an even 10 cents. So I do really like that number too. We're going to put that there. Oftentimes in an alt season, we'll go a full extension of this last wave. We see that both of those mathematical measurements take out our minimum for the C wave. So I can get rid of that now. So we're talking about our C wave getting up into these levels, and that's taking this B range. There's one other way I want to draw these fibs out. The longer the range, the stronger the fib's going to be as a resistance, okay? So this is a shorter term time frame thing. This is over the last 8 months, 9 months. And we saw that the full extension got us out to an even 10 cents. The other way I want to look at it is I want to take an extension of this A wave, okay? This full A wave right here. Full extension gets me out a little bit closer to that 11 cent level, but I do see some confluence here at 9.2 cents. The 3618 of this range and the 786 of this whole range. So I really like this whole area right here that we have for our final target. And I understand that that's not setting new all-time highs, but we're not here. That doesn't matter. There's 1 week that you wouldn't be in profit. So I guess if you loaded your bag right here, then fine. But even at that even 10 cent level, that wicked out there, that wicked out there, like this whole area right here makes complete sense. And then on the macro time frame, what we would be looking at is you had your 5 waves up for the A. No, sorry, this is wrong. We had our 5 waves up. Come on. We had our 5 waves up, and then on the way down, it was a macro A, B, C, and that's how that's going to look. We're not worried about this, right? I do believe there's going to be a cleansing of the cryptos, kind of like the 99-2000 internet fad. But for the time being, we got plenty of juice here, and that level I'm looking at got us up there. It's an 11x from the current price level. All right, so let me get rid of some of this stuff. Because right now what we want to do is we want to identify, we know that we have 3 more waves here. We had a 1, 2 already happened, and we're waiting on 3, 4, 5, and we're saying that wave 5 is going to get us up there. All right, so for this, the shorter term move, I want to take this last range right here, the one that we're talking about going a full extension of. My main level is going to be 10 cents. Oftentimes, we're going to exceed this high on the first run-up. We'll either get stopped out there or just exceed it. It'll sucker people in, and then it's going to come either back test that level or drop into the 786, 702 level. All right, here, let's make this guy blue. So we're going up. Cool. In this 4th wave, a lot of times we'll see anywhere between like a 35 and 50% drawdown. So just to get back to that high, we're looking at 34%. RSR, $500 million market cap. It's not small, but it's not huge either. So you can assume we kind of be somewhere in the middle there, like 45%. So this thing, after running up to 4 cents, a nice even 4 cents there, rejects back down to about 2.2 cents, and then goes off into its last high up there at 10 cents. All right, so we're looking at right now a run up to 4 cents, a drop down to 2.2, maybe even 2 is a nice round number. We'll keep it at 2.2 for now. And then one more blow off up to 10 cents, and that would be it, guys. So that's what I'm looking at right now for RSR. That would give us total wavelengths. First wave would be 140%, 2.4x. This third wave, 7.7x. And then that 5th wave, 4.5x. All right, and like we said, total on the way up, that gives us about an 11x from the current price level. That was all math-based. You guys see how we did it. We'll make adjustments as we go. If this 3rd wave doesn't get quite as high, stops out shorter, and the 4th wave settles in, we'll definitely be able to lock in some of these targets a little bit more, but we're trying to do this months ahead of time. So that's how we do it, guys. Again, join the Quantum Circle. I do a ton of this kind of stuff, and your guys' charts and requests are prioritized. Real-time trades, portfolio access, 2 macro videos a day, a Discord. Teach you how to do TA just like me. Like I said, link to that in the bio. If not, super appreciative you guys are here. If you could follow, like, repost. I want to get this out to as many people as I can before it's too late. And it seems like the train is starting to leave the station. So appreciate you. I'll talk to you guys soon.